space today was kind of just showing like behind the scenes of all that we have been working on. Just to first of all show all the trials and tribulations, of course, but more to show what's the vision, right? Because it's important for us to understand um, all of the foundational stuff that went into this art change, and how does that have a part of the presentation in the future, right? Because the art chain was significant where, and we will go through, right? I'm going to present soon, but it was significant to show like how did it reach here, and what is the role of what makes us unique and different moving forward, right? So I welcome those questions. It's the time for all the stuff that we have. I know that a lot of people have some questions that in the chat, sometimes DMs, and hopefully this kind of give you guys some insights into where does that look, right? So um, Nostradamus will stream in a bit the presentation, and hopefully this kind of have you guys see the vision of what we're trying to achieve.
Love you. See you later. Have a good day at work.
See you later.
All right. Can everyone hear me? Amresh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we
All
can
right.
hear you.
All right. I'm gonna
Yeah,
present my screen and we can kick things off.
sure, go for it.
All right. Amresh, let me know when you can see and I'll present it in full screen.
It's coming up. Yeah, we can see. All
All
good.
right. All right. We're
Quite
set.
interesting. All right. So as you guys see yesterday, right? We did the name change, right? So the new identity of this new collection is Jirasan, which falls as an entity under the PG group. So that's why we did not uh, we did not remove our existing Twitter. We kept the same branding. And as the one pager kind of shared, is all of that is kind of forming this visual identity collection under this one brand, right? And I'll go into that some more. Next. Right. So you have to understand that when we were first poised to generate this new collection, that it wasn't just about creating something visually nice, right? And this was a kind of statement I had plastered on my wall saying, we need to have some strategy around what it is we're building towards. Next. Right. So one of the most famous iconic builders over the past decade knew the importance of design, and we took a lot of inspiration from that into kind of moving forward what it needs to be. So what is PG, right? We had that question for the last 2 years with all of these fragmented questions about the collection, all of these things. What is this entity called PG? What is this Web3 startup with this NFT products that we had? What it really is this PG? Next. So over the course of 2 years, we experimented a lot. Things worked, things didn't work, right? We went through all of this cadence of launching things, understanding what we're good at, understanding what our weaknesses, and really and truly, PG as an entity is this next gen investment company, right? So, and understanding what we're good at, we have the iconic leadership of Shan, we have the team supporting him, we have the community members, and it's really important to understand that PG as an entity has always been strong in the connections that we have been building and in leveraging those connections to bring those opportunities to our holders. Next. Next. So our mission is to empowering people incubating businesses, and as a team, we work under these core values of this integrity, transparency, and trust, right? So every time you see Shan make a tweet, every time you see us talk as a project, right? It's one of the keywords and the buzzwords that we kind of hold fast into who we are as a project. Next.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So over the last year, right, the marketing team built profiles around who it is that we're trying to achieve, right? And you guys supposed to have seen this. We have shared this in the past around who is the ideal PG holder, right? And everything we're sharing here today will be posted back. So I won't go into fine details, but it's very important for especially some of the new guys that entered into the community to understand who we're building this project for. Next. So what is it that we're aiming to achieve, right? So we found a lot of strengths around PG looking to be that startup accelerator with some of the projects we help incubate. We looked at help funding good ideas coming out of the project and the space, right? We're very much hands on and very involved. So, a lot of the projects that we have invested as a community for, not just as a project, but in terms of community funds, we have been helping them with marketing support, strategy, incubation around who's the right people to go to and where do we right to get funds from. So a lot of times people say, okay, a jack of all trades, but what what people fail to realize is the other part of that sentence. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but rarely a master of one, right? So it's important to understand that framing. Next. So in understanding what we are, understanding what it is that we want, how do we know we're there, right? So we spent a lot of time. We did a executive retreat, and we were coached under a business leader. And he spent time at us focusing what do we want to achieve, and now we're starting to see the results of these things, right? So we want to have through this ecosystem of PG, redacted, all of these things to have the most amount of Web3 unicorns. So again, it's very important for holders to understand what we're building towards. Next. Right. So I won't spend too much time on this, but I will just kind of touch on this point here is understanding from a brand perspective, how does brand play a part with all of the different frameworks? So as a brand, and we sometimes people mistake brand with just logos and colors, but brand is a culture. So as a culture, we wanted to have that centralized rule amongst all the different facets of what Web3 framework allows. Next. So starting off the artwork, we spent we spent a good couple weeks looking at all of these iconic PFP arts. What makes these arts unique, right? So we considered the Azuki, the Youths, Pudgies, Mad Labs, right? And we really dive deep into it and understanding the psychology of it much more than the visuals. And we will start to go more into that soon. Next. So why it is we needed this change, right? So when PG started in 2021, heavily inspired by the Godzilla design, right? Started off as a passion project with Jamie, and we really leaned on what Godzilla represented to us, right? So Godzilla represented this aspect of the strong character, this heavy force character, but that came with all of the umbrella of IP limitations. Could we work with external brands? Could we only grow so big where it becomes a legal risk? So we always knew that moving forward we had to step away from that that dark cloud that could hold our growth, and and then of course people still hated the art, right? As much as some holders would like it, some people would not like it. It's not for everyone. We were not the only unique beast character of that nature at that time. So we felt all of that pressures coming from one, the legal side, one, people just don't vibe with it. And then as the space started to mature, a lot of these iconic presentations came out and we were being left behind, right? Jokingly, we used to say that we're Web3's best kept secret. And one of that limiting factors because people just didn't vibe with the art. It was too busy, it was too much, it was too simple, right? And we just didn't have a coherent theme that allowed us to really own our own IP. So before we started, right, leading this team towards what does iconic presentations look like, I'm a very data centric person. So before we even started from day one, we didn't even do any type of render or any type of visualization. We went straight to testing, right? And we wanted data to help us determine what does this look like moving forward. So next, so we started off with a survey, right? We kind of masked it as not ours because we didn't want it biased from PG holders, but we wanted people to give us perception of PFPs in the Web3 space. So we passed out a Google form. I think some of you guys would have filled it. It may have been shared to other communities, but nowhere in that we proclaim it's ours to remove bias from these answers. So we did over 120 participants. We tested 7 different criterias, and we took all of that data for putting out what does this new PFP look like. So I'll share some of that data with you guys. So we went straight into the art style, right? So we knew what type of style people really enjoyed, what type, whether it's human beast, right? The busyness of the character, the color palettes of the character, the background, the posing, and even as far in depth as line weights, right? So it was really eye opener to see how people perceive value in the space and what it is that, because a PFP is such a unique thing, right? PFP is not art. PFP is a personalization of your goals, your aspirations, of what you want to identify yourself with. So in understanding that, at least now we have a framework. Now we have the opportunity for us to start to conceptualize what does this character look like. Next. Right. So this was some side data we picked up as well, where how important it was for holders, how important is PFPs, how important is rarities, how important is aesthetics, how important is even something as simple as trait customizations. Right. So we gathered all that data, help us to plan, okay, what's after this PFP art, all of these things. Next. And then the name, right? So we launched the name. It was something that as a team first we conceptualized, we wanted to get something kind of catchy but still pay homage to where we came from, right? You know, we had the Jira farm, we had the Jira, Jira people used to call us Jira all the time. So we didn't want to lose that. We wanted to have that as part. So even with a brand change, even with a brand, a reformation of the identity, we still want to be known for who we are, right? So when we came up with the Jirasan, it was this reference from our past. But why we went to the prefix of or the suffix of san is because people haven't put that respect to the name, right? We were always around this aspect of, all of the other projects. We were never in a top 10 list. We were never, when people are looking at projects to look at, we just wasn't there, right? And of course, part of it had to play with the art, part of it had to play with our identity, a small collection. So in determining that forward, right, we knew that it really resonated internally towards putting that respect to what it is we want to achieve. Next. Right. So is the stream full? Can someone else stream? Okay. Right. So in understanding the logo mark, right, we wanted to come up with, again, paying respect to our past, creating identity for the future. So I'll share this with you guys, but you guys would have seen even simple things as a logo has a part to play in our personalization of who we are, right? And all of this, remember I started this entire presentation with strategy has to have an important role in our future. It's not just about the cosmetic design. Next. So who's the team, right? So the artists that are working behind this, right? We wanted to find artists that hasn't done work in the space, right? Um, we have 2 artists coming out of Indonesia. They have worked with Marvel. They're actually the colorists and drawing artists for Marvel. What was it?
Um, Hellfire
The
Gala.
Gala, Hellfire Gala, yeah, Hellfire Gala series, right? So it played a very important role with how we identify ourselves, a mature brand, a mature aspect, um, and people that could bring that level of creativity towards the art. But we didn't just stop there, right? I consulted people in my past around branding, right? So we consulted with some of branding experts. What does branding look like? And then even within Web3, we consulted with some of the top artists in the space, right? Ethan, Levi, right? We actually have a holder who have done significant artwork, and I'll share some of his details. But all of these people had a part to play in crafting what does our art look like. So it's not something that I came up with or Shan came up with, but a lot of it was this data centric of collecting all of this information from everyone and trying to find the right fit for what makes it seem possible. Next. So PFP add value, right? And art development, right? So this is the next little subcategory we're going to here. So we started off with, first of all, the art must give an emotional response, right? We looked at mood boarding. What is that emotional response? You must feel a level of strength, dignity, alpha male, charismatic dominance, because that's who we are, right? Whenever that Genesis PFP that we have, or any of our PG holders jump into a chat, jump on Twitter, people expect a level of intelligence, people expect a level of tradition, people expect a level of maturity, and we didn't want it to lose that in coming up with this art. So those are things that we definitely wanted to move forward with. Next. Then we looked at what is the environment, what is the style deco that we want to work with, right? Understanding who we are, what is the ideal type of holder for us. We knew that we didn't want it to be too juvenile. We wanted to be cultural, and we wanted to have a level of identity that every holder can feel represents themselves. But we was also limited because we knew that we didn't want it to stray too far away from who we are as a brand, right? Web3 culture is completely different from any other culture out there. And we still wanted to be cultural, but we still wanted to bring a level of elegance and a level of boldness to the space. So here we show, right? And most of you guys would have never seen this, but we did over 100 different design concepts, right? Starting off with, first of all, just basic renders, then trying to go into a different direction, and then scrapping that, going into a different direction. And then we knew that we wanted to have a human-like characteristic or a beast-like characteristic. So we did over 100 different concepts designs before we choose what it is we have today. So then it is when we had two basic concepts. We had a human concept, we had a beast concept. And we didn't stop there. So as I mentioned before, testing was everything that determined this art. So then we had one-on-one calls that span over the course of a month, and we had a good diaspora of people we interviewed. So we interviewed whales, we interviewed community members, we interviewed non-PG holders, right? And in there, we wanted to get a snapshot of what was those emotional responses. What do they feel about this human art, this beast art, right? And it wasn't a PvP. It wasn't, okay, which one do you prefer? But more around, okay, if we are to go human, what do you like? What do you dislike? If we are to go beast, what do you like? What do you dislike? So we did a whole testing criteria around 9 different criterias for each type of characteristics. So this was a general direction of what it is um that people gave us the feedback from. I'll just take a pause for a second because some people saying they cannot stream. Is anyone can be able to stream for somebody holders who can't get access to the stream? Is anyone able to stream? All right, just one second. See if I can solve this. Okay, now, um, Thanks, Steve. Okay, so DJ just fully streamed for us. Perfect. Right. Okay, yeah. So as I was mentioning, right, we had this pivotal decision. We had this. Who do we? Let me just mute some of the guys here. 1 second. Okay, yeah. So we had all of these decisions about who does it take, right? What are the different interpretations of this art, and what is the learnings from it? And we learned quite a lot, right? So from the human side, people found was good. People liked the idea, people liked the interpretation of how we represented this character, but it would become diluted amongst all of the hundreds of other human based PFP collections, right? But the beast was very simple at that time, right? It felt, is it quality art? We don't know. But it had the legs to become super iconic in the space, right? If we spend a little more time in the design room, it had the opportunity to become one of the more iconic designs that we can go with, right? So at that stage now, I had that decision to make. Do I think PG as a brand needs to be simple? Do I be safe? Or do I take the chance and the risk towards having holders have something that they can be proud of? We could be bold and risky with. And I felt at that time that PG, building all of the brand equity that we had, this is our chance to be risky, right? Our project has a good reputation. Our project has a very stable flow. And with that reputation, I felt at the point in time that let's go back to that design room. Let's reevaluate with the beast and let's move forward with that. So that was at that stage of the design development. Next. So we took all those feedback, right? And I always remember that call I had with Dingaling, and he said, "Hey, this character that I'm seeing here, right, is he's the bodyguard, right? He's the brute. He's the Chad, but he's not the well-respected guy. He's not the guy. He's not the alpha. He's not the guy who's hiring the bodyguard." So I felt like, okay, we have to do something, right? And I know that some of you guys said that, we took all of that feel and we said, how do we make this the main character of the story? So we went back to some of our people that we consulted with. We went back to the artists. We sat back in the design room, and then we made all these changes, perfecting the base. Before we move forward to trades, before we understood what it is that we want to build, how do we build this character to remove that brute mentality and go towards perfecting that base? Next. Right. So we did a lot of stuff, right? One of our holders, right, Bone Boy, I've been in constant chat over the last couple of years. He's actually an orthopedic surgeon, right? So having him consult around the base, uh, the base anatomy of the character was super cool, right? It was nice conversations because in the pose design, what we wanted was a strategy around having this character showing some level of movement, showing some level of he's rising up, right? So we looked at the shoulder design. What does a rising up person look like? What does a forward moving person look like? Right? We went towards perfecting the line work, right? We consulted with one of a very prolific artist in the space, a guy called Ethan, and he helped us with understanding how do we show line work in different capacities to represent where we want the attention of the eye, right? And then with that, now we still consulted with some of the creative advisors, some of the brand advisors to understand what does that mean around that alpha, that badass energy that we want to have. Next. And then yet still, we did it in a way that does not venture away from the brand. PG has this iconic brand that we still want to keep while still exploring new identities, right? And I think this was a nice slide that we can show where we show that balance of legacy, familiarity, and still originality. Next. So what was this art criteria that we looked at? How do we know we have ticked the boxes of what it is we want to achieve? So we talked about the brand of PG, right? And we wanted to see if this character personifies, embodies this brand, right? So this is one of the criteria that we tested. This is one of the criteria that determine the design of the character. Next. Right? Then we went with the emotional responses. How do you feel in looking this character, right? Because what your eye sees generates those thoughts. What is that thought? How do you feel from an emotional point of view? Would you feel from this character these level of characteristics that we want people to get from it? Next. How does it compare with the human-like PFPs in the space? Is it original enough? Do we feel like anybody could call us a copy of anything else? Right? We did the same for the beast as well. Right? And I feel like that's something that I'm really happy with all of the sneak peeks that we have done so far. No comment that we have seen, or no one has commented that this is a replica of any other existing collection. And with a space for the last 3 years having so many collections, so many artworks, the Azuki lookalikes, the KPRs, whatever it is, no one is looking at this art as any type of look alike like anyone else. We never compare to anyone else. And to me, that's a big plus for us that we wanted to achieve. Then we look now at the art at multiple scales, right? Because we're never going to see the art as the square image. We're always going to see the art at multitudes of variances. And we need for the character to be seen in all levels of variance. So this was a next factor that we consulted with. Then we went with personal brand worthiness. How likely is this character to tell everyone's personal stories? How likely would people use this PFP to represent the best version of themselves? Everyone has a story, everyone has goals, everyone has aspirations. So when we were conceptualizing the world, the clothing, the traits, all of these things, we wanted this character to everyone can see a version of themselves within it. Next. Then we added a price point because when we did our internal testing with, as I said, we interviewed about 30 to 50 people. We wanted them to associate high value, right? So it's not just about looking good, but do you feel the intent of the artist? Do you feel that the artist put in the level of work that justifies a high price point? So we wanted to test that aspect of, do you get the intent and the exuberance of the artist putting in the work to make these PFPs pop? Next. And this one here is the most talked about point on the art so far, right? And it's a risk. When it is I presented this to the internal team, it wasn't met with the best of things where people knew of the risk associated. But we have to understand that with strong branding comes a level of risk, comes a level of boldness. So I want to spend our time talking about color as IP, right? What is color? Why is color important? So color comes with a level of emotional guides. It builds that brand equity. It establishes longevity because it can be shared amongst all of the different visual assets that we have, and therefore position ourselves for long-term visioning, a long-term role and aspect. Next. So we have brands having that successful playbook of owning colors. We have the Cadbury purple, the Tiffany blue, the Hermes orange, right? And I want us to own a color as an IP. And once ever you see that color, people could listen. The reality is that people can copy our style. People could copy our line work. People could copy our coloring. People could copy anything that we put out. But because of our strong brand presence with colors as IP, no one can copy our red without somebody commenting, "Hey, this is like Jirasan." And it's very important for us to look at that and envision what the future looks like about owning colors and IP. So when it is I came up with this background choice, it was about not just using a flat color. I wanted to have it a bit texturized, but all the psychology of who we are as a brand is well embossed within this color. This color resonates with our cultural identity as PG. These strong characters coming from a position of willpower, strive, all of our hardships that we had to come over and still take that respect from the space, right? And I felt like, given that track record and history, it serves as a good fit of this background choice. And then in all of the dilution of the PFPs in the space, how do you recognize community? So identifiability was something of utmost importance. How we can do it? Could we do it with the pose? Could we do it with the line work? Could we do it with the coloring of the character? There's so much different dilution of PFPs in the space, right? Having ownership of that background is for quick identifiability of community. How can I see a fellow PG holder? How can I see a fellow community? Because it comes from that level of psychology that once you understand you're part of the same community, it brings a level of trust, a level of identifiability, a level of comfort, a level of ease. So how can we get that with this new charactership that we're building? Next. And then we wanted to bring that as a natural evolution for holders to feel like we didn't abandon our history as PG. From the Genesis to the Gen 2 to the Fusions, it has to seem like a natural evolution that we wanted to test as well, of seeing that as it goes along. So, how does that look with the comparison of these quote unquote gold standards of PFP art? Right. So, we've looked at that now, and I hope that everyone still feels a level of, I would say, understand the vision, understand that our art is meant to be iconic in the space, and could definitely see it being a significant value, right? And could it hold its rank amongst anything that's in already and anything that's about to come? So it's the same base, different perceived physique, a variety of cuts and fits, maintaining the same base. It allows us to evoke different statures and build with the character perceived stories, perceived physiques, right? So all of this through emotions, clothing, different traits, we can still get that level of identifiability with everything that we do. And here we show the timeline, right? It's not an easy task, guys. It's not something that it happened overnight. It's not something that we're constantly building. Even up to now, we're still making alterations based on, because I even consider the sneak peeks as a basically a public beta where we understand some of the comments that people have, some things we can improve on, and we're still doing those iterations. But this has started close to a year ago, right? And understanding all of the work that goes into it, I think is very important for community members to see and understand this level of development. So what does the brand envision, right? So I took inspiration for how Web 2 deals within brand ambassadorship. And I consider every PG holder a brand ambassador. You represent the brand, whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever influence you may or may not have, whatever your perception of things that's going on, you are our brand ambassadors. You are representing our IP everywhere, right? So simple things like that is what it is we want our holders to have at the back of their minds, right? You are no longer just representing you, but you're representing everything we stand for, everything your fellow community members stand for. Hello? Hello? Let me just see if I
Sorry,
can
there's
mute
a
it.
couple of people, yeah, be mute. Possible if they could mute.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
On it. Yeah, should be good.
Okay.
Yeah. So right. So this is what that brand ambassadorship looks like, right? Um, the idea, the conceptualization, the build of it, right? All of that is towards understanding what community is for us. Next. And is community just a buzzword, right? What we want from our community members is to be the best version of themselves, Tell us your stories. Tell us your entrepreneurial stories. Tell us your trading stories. Tell us your health stories. Tell us all your accomplishments. Tell us your weaknesses, right? And every story that community members have is a story of Jirasan, right? And that's what they imagine, or that's what strategically we want this brand to represent. Yes, our brand has the resonance of all the things we want to entrepreneurially conquer and entrepreneurially have, but community for us is also a product of us. And I know it's such a cringe thing to say, right? Because what is community? What it is all these things? But strategically it has a part to play, right? The roost that we all come from represents the same cultural identity that we have. And that's what community is to us. It's not a consumer base, it's a communal base, right? So that's what we imagine. Community is not just a buzzword for us, it's actually part of our design strategy, right? And that leads to our slogan moving forward, right? So Jirasan is earning that reputation, but taking that respect. We have been in the shadows for too long. We have really personified all of the struggles of Web3, from lack of resources, being delisted from OpenSea, IP problems, people calling us scammers, people calling us ruggers. But we stayed here and we worked with each one of you guys. We get to know everyone better. We focused on the economic side of Web3, and we have earned that reputation over time. And moving forward now, we want to take that respect that comes with it. Yeah. Next. So that's it for my presentation. Tell me, guys, any questions? Any? Right, so I answered the female leagues questions on the Genesis chat. You can have a look at it there. Right, but again, it's important that it's not an art presentation; it's a brand presentation. It's for you guys to understand the brand that we're trying to perceive and to put out. So leaks, leaks, leaks. When leaks? Next.
So they want the leaks?
Only leaks.
Okay. The Relic's iconic GIF that he's been spamming out the chat. We
Yeah.
acknowledge it.
Only. Yeah, yeah.
Here's one.
Tag him in the chat, guys. I don't even know if he's on the live.
Is Aku around?
I don't know.
Yo, that one looks sick, bro.
Should we do one more?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, Amresh, you could mention about the Genesis, the
Oh yeah, right. So we saw the sun, right? Genesis would have its own rule, right? So we're calling them Jirasama, right? That speaks a level of class, a level of respect that goes with the name.
okay. So you guys want one more?
Yeah, maybe we should have one more. So we have.
Okay, let's go one more.
Guys, you really killed it with the Genesis art. Holy shit.
So all we have seen is non-Genesis art, right? Shan is the only Genesis art that we have seen.
Yeah.
Right. And again, no one can call us a copy of anything, right? We have our own identity. We have our own value that we're bringing, right? And this is going to be our identity moving forward, right? So, and I've seen all the hate of the Redskins. So this is to quell all of those discussions that we were having, right? Tag OX General in the chat. Let them see.
Yeah.
Right. So I hope that we meet all the expectations of the community. I hope that everyone's proud of these things that we have accomplished, not just on the business front end, right? The team is grinding every day hard and all the stuff we have, but now that we have artwork to keep our identity alive and we're taking that respect that we deserve. Right. So, if anybody has any questions on branding and the vision of the brand itself, right? Now that we have a brand that's separate from the PG brand, we could be a little more playful. We could be a little more experimental with it, right? The PG brand as an iconic finance brand serves limitations that what can happen, right? But now that we have our own brand that is a much more design friendly brand, we would have a different brand voice. So the Jirasan page would have a little more different identity from what we have. All right. So I hope that's kind of clear for everyone. But as you see, it's not something super simple. It's not something that we just woke up one day and imagined. It's all of the work that we went to all of this to get into it. As I said, I really hope that you guys feel that. So yeah, I went through the red background in it, right? We have over 160 different clothing traits, right? So there won't be any type of redundancy around people having the same type of visuals, right? We have different skins. We may or may not have different characters, right? So we didn't say that. We have females, we have legendaries, um, but we have all of this different variety within the collection that everyone can still find their own personalization of it. All right. So the red skin, what you see is what is predominantly for the Genesis. We won't have much red skin, and we even tinted based on the feedback from the sneak peeks. We even did alterations of the skin itself for the red background. But this isn't something that Genesis have to be worried about. And you can see on the screen here, this is what the red skin for Genesis would look like. And I'm pretty sure there's no background contrast issue. So leaks for legendaries is gonna come. It's gonna come. Just trust the process.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't want anyone hates on us now. um, yeah. So that's something to answer your question, Sefas, is that that's something that will happen in the future, but not just yet. Right. We want to own the IP of the color, as I said. So we want to give time for that to happen, and then maybe later on, and I say the word maybe here, right? Because we have to see with resources, we have to see how trends move. We could look at trade customizations in the future. But we have a different version of trade customization from what the space has seen. We have a strategy around it that makes us unique and different and something that people would feel proud of. But these are the things that we can have from that aspect. Thanks, DJ. DJ, yours nearly came up on the board today, man. I'll private you. I'll send you one for you, DJ. Don't worry about it. So as I said, Relic, we have over 160. The most amount of traits we have is the clothing trait. That's the one that's going to give the most variety. And we have over like 160 to 170 different clothing traits. Any plans to set Gen 1 updated to sell again? No. So, right. So the whole plan of removing all of the identity, right, is so that people would have one home to go to towards collection. Because all of these visual traits will not have unique utility trait value, right? Um, yeah. So with that, it's purely around visual traits. And then whatever the community, and this is the hint, right? Whatever the community decides to do with their visual traits, those are things we can't keep control of. Uh, can I get? Oh, no, Relic, please don't. You go up to the Olympics for that. Um, all right. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, you can feel free to ask your distribution questions, Super Razzie. Let me just check the chats, see if there's any questions in there.
Okay,
So the
five star.
legendaries, yeah, I'm gonna answer that. So legendaries is basically going to be one of one drawings from the artist, right? I don't have the final version to show it yet, right? But I could always post in the chat, in the Genesis chat, some of the iterations that led to it. But it's going to be much more engrossed, much more detailed than the existing collection. So that's what you can expect. Yeah, man. It's just to be honest, bro, is the for relic is just that we want to make sure that we cover all of the changes that we make since the sneak peeks kind of started going. So right now I don't want to pull the artists away for doing sneak peeks and more just finishing the art for midday. Yeah, I'll share a PFP version for you to deconnect.
Yep, I'll DM you Aku, the high res version.
Right, legendaries will have a role but have no extra utility outside of the stuff that was previously discussed. But in terms of uh, trait guarding in the Discord, no. Yeah, you will have a legendary rule, but no trait guarding, right? So no special chat channel, no whatever, right? And we have a special name for the legendaries as well. We have 21 legendaries, I think. 21
Yep.
legendaries in the collection. Close non-achiever, close but not Kun. Kun, we have Kun as something else, but not legendaries. No, legendaries would be one to one with the legendaries. So no, the only rarity from the pre-sale or anything that anyone else can mint would only be the normal or uncommon. So to answer your question, we didn't cut it, right? There is a different reimagination of it, but if we want to make it open-ended, relic for your question about smoking and vaping and stuff, is just to keep any doors open to working with brands, right? So nothing that has a negative type of influence would be in the collection, but we reimagined what it can potentially look like. Yeah. I think we had one, what was it, Nostradamus? We had one sneak peek of a mouth. I think it was the vape trait, if I'm not mistaken.
So we had Yippie's one had a mask that was a reimagining of his fusion, but we have others. Yeah, soon to come. We'll reveal what
Yeah.
maybe potentially what the quote unquote non-appropriate traits have been reimagined to.
Yeah. Yes, Roderick, yes. Right. So yeah, so like I said, man, I hope you guys are really happy and proud to have this as your PFP moving forward. And I hope we answered all of the branding questions that we had and kind of showed all of the work. We would make this post on the data room, right? So everyone can still refer to it and stuff after. MCP4, he did a lot of the he used to message every morning to tell us good morning and laugh at us with our works that we would do. And he would then run away. Mike was a big help, man. It was nice for Mike because one, he has been a holder from the start. But him working with the quality of artists that we had, I think it really upped his game. And then he also brought his own perspective of stuff. And we end up developing such a nice relationship with the artists that really, that really had a nice working relationship where everyone can share their ideas and creatively come up with some design considerations that everyone was happy with.
All the hairs stuff you're seeing, it's all him. It's all him.
Yeah,
He designs.
Mike was in charge of all the hairs. So, we knew that like the red skin was going to be something that people weren't too happy about, the afro hair. So we spent a lot of time kind of figuring out those types of dynamics to make sure, right? Even the cigarettes and stuff, uh, you know, some people weren't happy with in the past, right? Those type of things. So we're not sexualizing the females, relic. Right? It's not going to be waifus. so, so all the sneaks that you have seen, with the exception of Shannon, is something that anyone can mint on midday outside of Genesis.
Ah, gee, keep it PG.
Keeping it PG for sure. Any other questions, guys? Let me let me share. I would share um one of the sketches of the legendaries, right? And this is just a sketch. This isn't
Yeah.
the final version. Which one should I put? Put this one. Share it in the chat. 1 second. Who had health? Who had the hell Jira? That
Yeah.
was.
Not sure who the holder is.
Yeah, I know who it is. It's I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, PCL.
Was
Yeah,
it
yeah,
PCL?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
that's
PCL.
right. Yeah. So that's not finished yet, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
bro. That's my role. I should get in the collection.
Uh, yeah, that's just a sketch taxi. Yeah, it's not even done yet.
Yeah, it's just a sketch.
So our goal with the legendaries was also that we wanted to stray away from the IPs that they were referencing, but make it fully original.
Mm.
So you guys would not relate it back to any like ones that we was referencing. So fully original stuff coming away for the legendaries.
Yeah, for sure. Right. So we don't want to have any kind of IP rights problems in the future. So we move away from the Hellboy look that
Mm.
PCL had, um, and just give some ideas of what that legendary could potentially look like. 21 legendaries. So it's not an easy task.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have 10 from Gen 1, 11 from Gen 2, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, Berlin, for sure. KSM don't stick. Yeah. So yeah, we even the rainbow. I think we have a different representation of it. But the female Jiras, right? I posted about it in the Gen One chat. Is we prioritizing everything for the mint right now, and all of the females would be minted towards a team wallet, and then we will open up swapping after the mint for females. So we will do an internal collection. So our sister like Lily and Lorena and stuff like that, who has been part of the collection we know of, right? We will prioritize a female swap for you guys first, and then open it up for anyone else after. So we're working on everyone's. Don't worry about it. We'll just get everyone's stuff. Right now, the priority is the 10K. Well, the 9,000 that we want to mint first on the mint day. um, the legendaries, and then the female. Yes, Relic.
He leaves it in suspense.
Yeah, I know, bro. I was always afraid. Maybe or maybe not, Relic. Maybe or maybe not. And there will be no sneak peeks of those. Yeah, for sure. Flexible G has been one of our systems. Yep, that's correct, DJ. One of them is a Gundam. So one of those will be in there. That Gundam was hard, man. Like honestly, it was one of the best pieces in both of the collections. Um, yeah, even the Terminator was a hard one, but like some of those was really good. Like to try to be better than the ones they had was really really hard. And remember, at the end of the day, man, is it's our community that determines a lot of things, right? So the most we can do is oh my god, it's not done,
Bro,
guys. Please don't be
look
posting
at
this on
Aero.
Twitter.
But look at it, even as a
Right.
sketch.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah, looks
Yeah,
super
and
good.
it's for us to feel proud. That's the anthem for the summer, man, for sure. Right, so we have a trailer dropping in a couple of days as well. Yes, that's correct, Web2 Gen. So all Genesis will have a Genesis equivalent skin. 2025 Relic, that's what we're aiming for. I think we put the month, we didn't put no year. That's correct. Right, but whatever the legendary decide to pull for themselves, KSM, right? I've seen a Jirasan DAO pop up on Twitter. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Right? We are in control of anything we do outside of our project. And don't worry, Warhead. Like I spent days making sure that the Jira Ball outfit was top notch, man. To talk about it. Yeah, I think so. I think we haven't spoke to the legal team for your question, Relic, but I suspect these things can you have. Right? Because as I mentioned, the big part of the branding is for holders themselves to share their stories, right? So who you are in the real world is who you are represented as your PFP, and all of your accomplishments, all of your goals, all of your aspirations should be by what it is you have. And these are things that moving forward we want to highlight from our page. We want to highlight from our stories, right? So our holders is what makes PGs no longer Shan and Jamie and the team, but PG is now holders. The stories of holders is what's going to elevate our brand to new levels. Yeah, the Jiras is purely ordinals, man. So Shin is doing great work on that, and they would have their own identity. Don't worry, Nick. Uh, Joker Jira is going to have much respect on it as well. Don't worry, Lily. We will. 21 legendaries. That's how much the new collection will have. GG. This is not a personal attack, bro. Vaping as we speak. All right. Any other questions, guys? 21, 20 of them have holders, right? So Relic, no. Stay away, brother. Oh yeah, Nick is holding 14%. That's the real MVP. Let me just see if any questions in the chats.
Shane's got a good one.
Let me answer. 1 second. Yeah, we're working on the Jirasan sticker pack, so you'll have that. So Jirasan redacted will not have NFTs. Jirasan will be the redacted NFTs. When merch, working on that as well. Where's Shane's question? Oh, how many? Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Two separate entities, so they won't have any redacted NFTs. We would be the premier NFT brand of redacted ecosystem. Yep, that's correct, Master. So in between that, we'll have different mints for different people at different times. Um, and that's still very doable based on all that we have so far. Yeah, man. That's the next thing the team is working on quite actively, redacted airways. Yes, August will be the claim, not 2025. uh, KSM is the lone shark in the team. Maybe one day for your question, right until everyone has it in hand. Yeah, you can speculate with KSM. Deal. How about we show
You want to show one more sketch?
not the sketch, the next sneak peek.
Okay.
So this one isn't based on a Genesis, but it just shows the traits, not a real Genesis. Yeah, this is our first hoodie up trait I think everyone's seeing.
Yep.
Yes, that's the purple skin trait. This is Genesis. This is a Genesis skin, but normal traits, normal piece can mint those traits as well. Yeah, so it's not based on a real person. We're just testing traits with the skin master. So it's not based on a real Genesis, but we're just testing some of the traits to see how it look. Okay, the all the common and uncommon is all of the sneak peeks we have put on Twitter. On the Jirasan page, you can see all of it. You missed the free airdrop for Amethyst Zizo. It was at the beginning of the AMA. Don't tell Chan. Secret is safe. So everything else we have put out on the public forum, Relic, is what Gen 2 can expect. If you are Genesis Flying Bull, it'll be a one-to-one version of your Genesis and your Genesis traits. That's the hope, Firestar, right? So we want to put out a merch collection with some of the pieces in the future, but there's nothing has started on that yet. Yep, that's correct, Ninja. The rares would only be the Genesis collection with the cosmic skin. Yep, cosmic skin would be the rare. Yeah, we have 21 legendaries. Alien, my PFP is the beanie trait. Rockstar's the word. Soon, Lily, soon. Guys, we can't show the whole collection today, all right? We can't show all of the traits. All right, the pilot jacket is nice. The pilot jacket is nice, Une. Don't worry about it. We got you covered. Suit, Papa, we've shown the suit for Josh. We want to see, yeah,
Yeah.
Josh has the suit shirt. Show it to everyone, Tashan. Can. Yeah. No, but we're keeping it Web3 region, but we're reimagining how it looks. Don't worry about it. Yep. So all of the Genesis traits, not the skin, would be randomized for the rest of the collection as well. Right. So although Genesis will be getting one-to-one versions of it, their trait packs will be for everyone. But they would have their unique identity with the cosmic traits. Bro, our existing merch is of top quality, bro. Like I don't care what no one says. The merch that we put out already, I still have it today and it's still top notch. Yes, that's correct. For Gen 2 claim, it's going to be completely random. You want to mess with G, bro. G's in Thailand doing Thai. Fusions are fully randomized, yes. And yeah, fusions are fully randomized as well. All Gen 1s are spirit, bro. We're not spirit, guys. We're cosmic. Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna put out especially some branding packs for holders, right? Especially people who want to create their presence and build their brand identity with it. I come from the branding sector, so I will try to have good templates for everyone to use. Things like the background, the textures, the font packs, all of these things, so everyone can, whoever has the aspirations to build their brand with us, and of course, get the support from us to help push their brand. That will be quite available for everyone. right? And just to reiterate, owning a cosmic skin does not mean you will automatic for the first time, yes, but moving forward does not mean that you have a Genesis role in the Discord. So if anyone sells their cosmic skin after, they can still retain the Genesis rule within the collection. Yeah, for sure, man. Master and I have been in constant chats. For sure, Papador, got you. Don't call it Cosmic Tao. All right? Call it. You want to say the name, Nostro?
Which one? Which name?
The Genesis.
Uh, Gen Cosmic Sama? No?
Sama. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sama. Yeah. Jirasama.
Ah,
Jirasama
yeah,
Dao.
yeah. Sama Dao, yeah.
If someone sells their Genesis skin but have 10 Jirasans, yes, they will retain their wool. The very small concept is they must have at least 10 at any point in time to keep their role. Master, are you in the chat? You have to play the song for the summer. Coming soon, Relic. Come soon, coming soon.
Who's playing it in the background? I hear it in the
Me,
background.
that's me. That's me. That's me.
Oh, okay.
And we have a bigger trailer, none Chica, don't worry. No, female traits hasn't been shown yet. Yeah, so to answer your question, Verma, is that all existing Genesis holders will migrate to having the Genesis role, and only when someone leaves, there will be a voting platform for new Genesis holders. Oh yeah, Shin, you were there for those times. Over 100 different aspects of it. KSM always has my vote. Yes, we added some new skin colors as well. So I think there's 16 different skin colors. So I think Genesis was like 8 or 9 or something, and then we have much more. Yeah. Tata knows. Tata was part of the initial testing group.
What was this Digimon call again? I forgot this Digimon's name.
Game on.
Ah, yeah, Gumon. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it almost looked like this DJ. Almost. All right. Yes, we'll leak legendaries after, man. Don't worry. Relic. Relic was on a warpath, man. Relic messages gives me PTSD all the time.
Uh,
Yeah, we have some cultural traits, right? So Tata has one with a Bitcoin shirt. There'll be other types of shirts that people would see within the collection. Keep us open for brand partnerships. We can't have those kind of things after. I'll make sure you get a Cardano shirt, DJ. I'll rig it.
one of your 10.
Right. So as I said, that if anyone has, we will make all of the presentation slides available in an article in uh, the data room, so that people can refer to it after and just see all of the work that went into this. So those things should come after Zizo, right? So we're toying with the idea of trait customizations, but that will come way after now. See if there's any more questions. Right. And as I mentioned before, guys, like we fully know that we won't appeal to everyone. We fully know that some people just won't vibe with some of the decisions we make. But at the end of the day, we try to please as much people as possible and really project ourselves for having a strong future with our PFP art in the future. Right. And as much as we can do our part, it's still up to the community to do their part. Right. Be the voice of our brand in everything you do. Right. Don't bring our brand into disrepute. Don't uh, you know, do those kind of things on socials and stuff like that. Um, and we will support the community as much as we can on our side by making sure for that.
Thanks,
Right,
DJ.
thanks, DJ.
Always
we're
the
afraid,
curveball.
we're afraid to get shot on sight. All right, guys, leave it open for like about next. We'll kind of end this call on the half an hour. But yeah, man, I really hope that you guys are happy with everything, and I'm really looking to see when the full collection is revealed. Um, that you guys are really vibe with it. Thanks, G.
Only got spammed. Uh,
Spam is a trap. Bro, someone just messaged me and asked for the pre-sale link. We're aiming for 24 hours. Don't put a full day. There will be uncommon traits that the Gen 2 can um can mint, but no rares only for the cosmic skins. Snapback ads you can get. So as I said, all of the Genesis clothing traits would be available for anyone else to get as part of their random. So from snapbacks to hoodies to We have uh, some pretty cool stuff there. Yep. So everything with the exception of the cosmic skin. Your screen is visible there, Nostro. Just saying. Oh no, this is
Pardon?
DJ. My bad. No, no, no. You're good. Just want to make sure that you don't leak anything. Yeah, no problem, Cephas. That's what the EMA is for. Maybe what you can do, Nostro, is you can
Yep.
show the Canva just but on a zoomed out scale so that you can just see how much straight.
Okay, let me just show. Uh, does this show my full screen? So, full window, or is it just my screen here?
Could you open the next window?
Okay, if I just, for example, open Discord here. Oh no, okay, so you only see my window right now, right? The
Yeah,
the
that's good.
Canva presentation. Okay,
Yeah,
let me unshare one sec.
you may lose the stream, so keep the stream, but you could just put it in the window.
Oh, so if Solji's on, would you want to end it now first, or does it end automatically?
I don't know. Soji will tell us.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay,
Solji,
you'll
you
have
can end it.
one. Do you have art for shads?
Thanks a lot, Solji.